Before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to ask the St. Mary's Junior Varsity Basketball Team, 4th through 6th grade, Blue Water Parochial League Champions, second place tournament, to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Up to the mic, there, Jim.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Try if he wants to do a speech. Thank you. We could have the roll call.
Cedar. Foley.
Here.
Kinsfater.
Here.
Kleeman.
Here.
Puffa.
Here.
Laporte.
Here.
McCartney.
Here.
May I have a motion to excuse Mayor
So
Cedar?
moved. Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to the consent agenda. Minutes of February 1st, regular meeting. Recommendation is to approve.
Motion to approve. Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Presentations. Presentation of certification of 2016 Port Laureate. Do I say it right?
Poet Laureate.
And bootlegger balladeer. Mr. Lockwood, are you gonna?
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, it's really a pleasure to come here tonight and announce the winners of the 7th Poet Laureate Bootlegger Balladeer contest that we had in January. This year we came up with a legend that came from St. Clair's history. And I'd like to start off and just read you the legend so you understand what the challenge is. Every year we find a legend that pertains to the community, and we ask our songwriters and poets to come up and just tell the story. We also encourage them to do their own investigation. They might turn up some surprising facts that we didn't know about. This year's legend is an escape from slow death. John Sawyer was born in 1848 in Pennsylvania. His parents died when he was 10, and when he was 12, he's made his way to St. Clair and got a job at John Nichols' woolen mill. My understanding is that woolen mill was along the Pine River. At 15, he advanced his age to enlist in the 2nd Michigan Infantry, Company F of the Union Army. By the summer of 1864, a little more than a year after enlisting, John was considered a veteran. He fought in the Battle of Wilderness, Spotsylvania, Courthouse, Cold Harbor, and Fort Stedman. He had been wounded twice, but returned to his unit each time. That summer, his unit was involved in a siege at Fort Petersburg. John's task was to carry gunpowder into the mine that the Union Army dug under the fort. Prior to the final attack of the fort, John's unit was assigned a task of destroying the railroad line at Reams Station. While the Union Army was successful in destroying several miles of railroad track around Reams Station, it did not complete the job of destroying all the tracks. The Confederate Army attacked John's unit and they were overrun. John and 2 comrades, Sergeant Crane and Private Lee, were taken prisoner. While he was held in a temporary prison at Fort Petersburg, he was questioned by General Lee. General Lee asked them many questions about the size and position of the Northern forces. Being enlisted men, they did not know the answer to the general's questions. John said General Lee was dressed neatly in his uniform of gray and impressed us very much by his kind and friendly manner. John and his comrades were transferred to Libby Prison in Richmond, Virginia, and this is John's story. On the way to Libby Prison, I obtained permission from a guard to buy food at a small street stand. I had not eaten in 3 days. I purchased 4 apples and a loaf of bread and handed the proprietor a $10 bill. He took it with the remark, "Just right." That was all the money I had. We were confined in a block cell on the 2nd floor of the prison for nearly a month, with very little food. My closest call to death came when I was looking through the bars one day. A guard fired up at my window, narrowly missing me. The reason he shot was my own fault. We had been in a habit of throwing objects at the guards when they called out the hours for the change in the guards. Our escape from that slow death in prison was a miracle. By arrangement, a large number of federal sailors had been imprisoned 18 months, ill, clothes in tatters, and almost too weak to stand, were exchanged for Confederate prisoners. Sergeant Crane, Private Lee, and I slipped into the line and marched into another room with the sailors, where they were be identified. When we lined up with the rest of them in the dim room, the sailors were so weak that they dropped to the floor while waiting in line. I edged up to the officer in charge, and after listening, I realized I could not answer any of the necessary questions. I crept over to the other side of the room where the soldiers had passed the quiz while lying down and curled up like them. Soon Sergeant Crane and Private Lee followed, but I moved away from them. I was afraid that they would discover us if we were together. By the dim light of the early dawn, we were lined up and counted before leaving the room. They counted us again after we left the building, and again before we boarded the boat on the James River. Each time my heart trembled, but apparently they didn't discover the extra numbers. On the boat, we were still prisoners, and I hid behind a wooden structure for nearly 2 days, and my comrades found similar hiding places. When we were finally released at Butler's Landing in Maryland in September 1964, we were fed and given 3 months' pay and 2 months' furlough. The timing of this was right near the end of the Civil War. By the time they got back, the war was over with. There is a little follow-up on this. When Charles' furlough ended, he returned to his unit and was soon discharged after General Lee's surrender in the spring of 1865. He returned to St. Clair and got his old job back at John Nichols' wooden mill. John married Esther Carleton in St. Clair, and they had 6 sons. He was St. Clair's first waterworks engineer when the plant was built in 1894. Later, as city marshal, he closed the city's saloons on Sundays, which proved to be his undoing. He was not reappointed. John became a builder and built several houses in the community. He died in 1932 at his home at 615 Clinton Avenue. He was 84 years old. So that was a legend that we gave each of the, we tossed out. And Jaime Chan was our Poet Laureate contest. This is the first time he's entered the event. I have found out since then that John's been involved with the Historical Museum. John is the one who helped install the software program that they are using to categorize all the artifacts at the museum.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's my pleasure to read for you tonight a poem I wrote about John Sawyer. It's named The Escape. The waning sunlight crept out of our cell, sparkling, dancing figures as in a spell. From the water's reflection far below, one more day without freedom lost its glow. It was at these times that I most recalled Tata, Mamusha, still back at home, the sun like a mirage upon the wall, the river brackish edge so full of foam. Outside we could hear the sentry's harsh call, the changing of the guards from wall to wall. Today we don't dare to harass them still, a shot to our window our life could steal. But something different this sunset brings, a murmur and footsteps out in the hall. The turning of the key in the lock rings. The door opens, our captor strong and tall. All you men who have been sailors, step forth! First no prisoner moved or showed their worth. I looked at Crane, I also glanced at Lee. We got in line with the men of the sea. The Union sailors' health was poor or worse, so in the dim interrogation room, they were helped to stand by a rebel nurse. Were we headed to freedom or to doom? My weak heart raced as I stumbled in line. Would the officer in charge my life find? As he asked me what my regiment was, I parted cracked lips, but no words, alas. My muteness seemed a timely miracle, for I was dismissed to join the others. I curled on the dank floor, invisible, hoping that I would not become father. Sergeant Crane and Private Lee also passed. but I looked away to help our ruse last. We were counted and we were paraded, and in a musty cell we were crated. The next morning our ship arrived below. I looked at my feet as the guards counted. The James River, bloody in the sun's glow. Please don't find us now, my poor heart pounded. In the keep of the ship I hid myself, starting to believe I'd escaped this hell. 2 anxious days we sailed the eastern shore, not knowing what our captors had in store. At last, at Butler's Landing, we were free. Free to eat, free to breathe, and free to roam. St. Clair was in my future, I could see. My dear Mamushia, the mill, and my home. Thank you.
Step forward. You've got a certificate of recognition declaring your poet laureate for 2016 for the city of St. Clair. Congratulations and a job well done.
Next is we have our bootlegger balladeer. Mike Dowd won this one. I went back and looked. You know, we've done this for 7 years, and Mike's won it 3 times, and he took 1 second. So I think he's zeroed in on what it takes to win this thing. Mike, please present your song.
It's a pretty long song, and I can't remember all the words. When I sat down to write this song, I knew it was important because it was a guy that was from my hometown, you know, and I didn't want to get it wrong. So I asked him, I said, John, I'll write this song about you. What do you want me to say? I said, I got to write about the war years and the capture and the escape from prison. That's what we're supposed to do. And he said, well, you know, that's a good story, and it probably should be told. But the most important thing, he said, I want him to know my name. He said, don't forget my name. I want him to know where I'm from. And I want him to know that my wife and my 6 sons, that was the most important thing. So I promise you, by the time we get done with this song, you'll know his name and you'll know where he's from. Oh, my name is John Sawyer, and I come from St. Clair. I'm a miller and a marshal and a works engineer. I built many a house, I shed a few tears. Oh, but that's not the story that I'm telling here. Well, there were 3 of us lads back in spring '63. With an urge then to travel and see what can be seen. We were 15 years old, but tall, strong and free. And so we lied to join up with the Blue Infantry. Well, now Crane, he was smart, and the sergeant was made. But me and Ole, just privates remain. We fought side by side in many a raid. And they shot us, and they got us, but together we stayed. Oh, my name is John Sawyer, and I come from St. Clair. We were down at Reims Station nation, August 64. We were blowing off rail lines, we were closing the door. When the Johnnies attacked with 100 men more, and those of us who weren't killed got dragged off for the score. And then General Lee came to see us. Now he's a fine gentleman. He says, boys, I got questions. Tell me all that you can. And we spoke not a word, but to answer him, nay. And so they shipped us to Libby up in Richmond, VA. Oh, my name is John Sawyer, and I come from St. Clair. Now that was a hellhole like none we had seen. It's full of rats and disease and men with gangrene. Poor food and bad water, we were sick to the bone. And we suffered and longed for our Michigan home. 'Twas a miracle that saved us from the scurvy and mange. Some prisoners, some sailors were offered for a prisoner exchange. So we snuck in beside them, we walked 3 by 3. And we all went unnoticed, Sergeant Crane, Lee, and me. Oh, my name is John Sawyer, and I come from St. Clair. At the dock, I said, come lads, lie down on the floor. These rebs, they can't count, they won't notice 3 more. And when the morning came, sure as I'm with you today, we just walked on that boat and we all sailed away. And so we kept ourselves hid for a night and 2 days. And on the boat docked at Butler's and they kicked us away. We got a meal and a haircut and 3 months back pay. And 2 months to lick wounds and to while time away. Oh, my name is John Sawyer and I come from St. Clair. I told you it was a long song, but we're getting close to the end. We went back to our unit, but it was nearly all done. They said, boys, it's all over, the Union has won. Lee gave up his sword at Appomattox today. Well, you can keep your old rifle, you can be on your way. I went home and I married the love of my life. We got 6 strapping boys, and I pray that by Christ They'll never be soldiers, there'll be no more wars, and I'll never be singing this song anymore. Oh, my name is John Sawyer, and I come from St. Clair. I'm a husband and a father, and I'm happy right there. I built us a house, and I don't shed no tears. And now I'm done with this story, will you bring me a
Have a certification here from the city of St. Clair, Security Group 2016, Woodlager Gallery. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Nice job. Nice to have those things in our community. Moving on, we'll go to ordinance and resolutions. The adoption of ordinance 2016-3, Chapter 10, Animals, Penalty for Violation.
Your Honor, this is the matter that was introduced at our last meeting, and it's before the council tonight for adoption. It's the product of a meeting that Chief Jefferson and I have at the end of each year that will simply make for more efficient enforcement of our dog ordinance.
Your Honor, I'd move to approve the ordinance as written.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. We'll need a roll call vote.
Foley,
Yes.
Kinsfater,
Yes.
Kleeman,
Yes.
Guffa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes,
McCartney,
Yes.
carried, Your Honor.
thank you. Moving on, we'll go to reports from administration. Mr. Booth?
Your Honor, I have a few items this evening to update council on. St. Clair Highway. Regarding the slope failure along the St. Clair Highway / Pine River, Environmental Consulting Technology, ECT, had their geomorphologists,
It's an awful.
visit the site. Based on his observation, he believes that the slope failure is driven by the is not driven by the forces of the river, which I think we all knew. It's nothing revealing there. He believes it's more of a geotechnical failure. Again, I think that's what we've thought all along. He indicated that there's too much weight on the soil matrix that does not have the ability to remain stable, basically shoulder the load. Further, he stated that the sheet wall does not appear to be properly anchored, which has caused a lateral movement of the sheet pile toward the river. Again, I don't think that's anything we don't know. He recommended obtaining additional data via geotechnical boring, and this is the direction that I had indicated to council. That was the last one, or the one prior to that, that I would take. So I will be putting together an RFP, and I'll get that out so we can move forward and start making some take that next step in solving the problem with St. Clair Highway. So want to give an update on that. And again, they've done some pretty good work around the community. I know they've done some work up in Marysville. And again, we'll keep moving forward with that. Next update is on the scrap. Tomorrow I'm going to a scrap tire meeting. The meeting's being held in Flint by Rowe to discuss advancements in rubberized asphalt design. Hope this will facilitate our scrap tire projects that have kind of been on hold because we have not been able to get people to bid, inspect the material that we need to do the job and get the grant money. The last item, last meeting I was asked about the crack sealer. Working on a list of roads that will be crack sealed during the 2016 season. The first item to be completed will be the boat harbor. We did not get to that at the end of 2015. And just some preliminary stuff, the roads that are in poor condition are more than likely, not all of them, but many will probably be excluded. It would take way too much rubber to make any improvement. When I have a more robust list, I'll present it to council. I think some of that will be dependent upon snow being gone and some of those things. So I will come back with a list to council. That's all I have, Your Honor. Any questions on those?
Okay. Mr. Downey?
Your Honor, I have two items. One is an update on the Senate Bill 571 that was enacted into a public act earlier this year, signed by Governor Snyder. The lawsuit that was filed by Miller Canfield on behalf of a number of plaintiffs, municipal plaintiffs, including the city of Algonac, resulted in a stay of the controversial provision. So essentially, we're back to status quo ante, where municipalities can provide information to the public as though this provision doesn't exist. There won't be a determination, an ultimate determination on the constitutionality of the provision until after the March 8 election. I've also been asked to acknowledge the St. Mary's St. Clair junior varsity basketball team during this time, and I'd like to acknowledge on behalf of the school its athletic director, Mark Keogh, its coach, Deacon John Fitzmaurice, and two fifth-grade stalwarts of the team, Keegan Malcolm and Jimmy Downey, who are here present. They went 7-1 during the Blue Water Parochial League season, very competitive league that was good for the league championship. And they finished, took a second place in the league, the postseason league tournament. But they represented the school and our community with great grace and sportsmanship, and were really an honor to watch.
Your Honor, a comment on the city attorney's first issue, which would have been the public act that was. Are we prepared to get our act together and advertise and discuss this in a little bit more detail than we had in the past? Are we ready to go? And I mean, boots on the ground or whatever it is we're going to do? Are we ready to do that?
We're going to have to come up with a plan real quick.
Okay. I'm just asking because it's getting pretty close.
I think it's going to require a special meeting, and then from that, yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. And did you want to address anything about the March 8th vote?
Yes. A reminder of the 2016 presidential primary on Tuesday, March 8th. The ballot also includes a local proposal requesting continuation of the current levy 2.49 mills that, if approved, will be allocated specifically for local road repair and maintenance. For your sample ballot, visit michigan.gov/vote.
Okay. Anything else? Any boards, commissions? We'll move on to, we have no unfinished business. New business, special events permit for salmon steak fishing tournament.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a few special events to be approved tonight. The first one is the salmon steak fishing tournament. I'm receipt for approval for the event permit for the Voyager to host the salmon steak fishing tournament on Saturday, April the 30th at their location. They have all the necessary documents have been received and they're in compliance with the city. I respectfully recommend approval of this event.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll support that motion.
Been moved and second. Any further discussion? Well, the record has to reflect I abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next one, Chief.
The next one is for the MS Society fundraiser walk. They also have put in for their annual fundraising walk, approximately 3 miles on the city sidewalks, beginning at the Riverview Plaza on Saturday, May the 14th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I also recommend approval for this event. They have all the necessary documents and are in compliance with the city ordinance.
Motion to approve. Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
The next one, Your Honor, is the offshore boat race. I received a request for approval for a special events permit for the Voyager to host their services on the premises of 525 South Riverside during the offshore boat race, which are July 28th, 29th, and 30th, and 31st from 8 a.m. till midnight. This is an annual event. They have the documents and have been received in compliance with city ordinance, and I respectfully asked for approval of this event.
Motion to approve. Support.
Been moved and second. Again, let the record reflect I abstain. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. American Legion.
That's for me?
That one's yours?
I got one more.
Yep.
This is just for acknowledgement, asking for approval for the special event to hold the annual American Legion Post 382 and Memorial Day Parade that will be this year on May the 30th from 1 PM in downtown St. Clair.
Can you take action on that, Your Honor?
I think we just bring acknowledgement.
Yeah, thanks.
No, I don't think, is
It's a
it,
city function.
we don't have to take any action. No, it's informational.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe there's one more here.
Yeah. No,
The approval for the Clemens agreement.
are you handling that, or
I think that's the chief.
Chief?
Basically, this is just a cleanup of agreement that we've been using for 1 year now. It started last February. The whole St. Clair County, except for Clay Township, have not yet joined, but everyone else has joined. It's called the Clemens system. And that is a courts and law enforcement management information system. It's a data sharing information and also report writing that we've all gone to be all on one unit of this. What they did was, just because of the agreement is kind of outdated and there's new terminology and whatnot, so basically they've sent a new agreement just to update everything, and this needs to be a resolution passed by the council to continue our Clemens agreement that we are doing now.
I'd move to approve that.
Support.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? We'll need a roll call vote.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Kleeman?
Yes.
Puppa?
Yes.
Report?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Foley?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks,
Thank
Rick.
you. Next item on our agenda is approval of application for letter for credit for haul route permit.
I'll take that one. I ask for council's approval to reapply for a road haul permit / letter of credit for St. Clair Highway and Bree Road. This permit will allow Beaver Lumber and Rivers Bend Marina to use the indicated roads during the springtime.
I'd move to approve that as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion?
I got a question, Mike. What's the 20,000? We
Pardon
pay that, the 20,000?
No, the bank writes the letter of credit for us. Only way we'd use it is if there was damage done to the road.
All right.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Appointment to Board of Review. With your permission, we would like to reappoint Barb Dodier, 815 Cass Street, for 1 year appointment expiring on December 31st, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Support that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item, claims and accounts, February 5th and February 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Roadway sewer over at the Special Police Post, what's that? I know what it is, but why are we paying it?
It's in the contract that we take care of plumbing.
Is that all the plumbing? No building?
It's our building.
It's in the lease that we maintain the plumbing.
So we maintain the plumbing, yes. Electrical. So if that happened, or if something happened with the roof,
What do we get a month for that building?
I'll have to grab a copy of the contract. I don't have it with me, though.
$87. We charge $87 in rent and we maintain the building.
I'll have to look at it, Bill. I don't have it here with me. Should be 210.
Pardon me?
Should be 200.
Actually, it's $267, but 179 of it is his taxes that he pays in 12 installments. Am I right or am I wrong?
I'll get back to you on the next meeting.
All
Bill.
right.
No other questions? Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on. Reports from mayor, councilpersons, appointments. The only thing I would like to add at this time is we were invited to a meet and greet at that the Community Foundation put on. They were members of council, the EDA, the DDA, local residents, and we had an opportunity to ask questions and hear what he planned to do with the building, and The Voice did a nice job, or the Times Herald, I'm sorry, did a nice job of putting an article, and I'm sure Mr. Block will have something in the next paper, right? Sure. But it was an opportunity to get to meet him and to ask a few questions. So, anybody else have anything? If not, I will ask for a motion to go into closed session for strategy to discuss the negotiation collective bargaining agent of employees represented by the POLC.
I so move, Your Honor.
I'll support.
Been moved and supported. We need a roll call vote.
Kleeman?
Yes.
Cuffa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Foley?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay. I doubt if we'll take any action when we come out.
We may.
We may? Oh, we
We
may.
will, we will.
We may. We may.